Just waking us up today. Thank you for the easy blessings that it's so easy for us to just overlook, but thank you for everything that we may never even mention or even think of. We want to thank you for the talents that you've given to everybody in this room, for the livelihood, the ability to support this community. Thank you for the decisions of the leaders in here. Lord, we just want to ask at this time that you be with the people in this room, that you help the things we're about to hear, you help the speakers to just say the words that will glorify you. We ask that you bless the staff that prepared this meal for us and the food to the nourishment of our bodies. As we leave here today, Lord, we just ask that you give us the talents and the wisdom and the ability to help other people in this community, help our loved ones, and do things to glorify you. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
Thank you, Jake. And now if you'll join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Phil, I believe you and Nick will lead us in song.
Make it like you mean it, folks.
Yes, I got one better half of these days, Christy. With me is Division Chief Sam Mashitsky. He's our emergency manager for the city. He'll be joining me with the presentation.
Yes, I have two guests, and they both put in their application. Candace Neary, insurance right here in Thomasville, and then Jen Mayhall, registered.
Other guests. Judy, how well this guest anymore do we?
Yes.
Part of the game. Announcements. Does anyone have any announcements?
I have a thank you. I didn't make all who was not delivered yet and helped last night with Meals of Grace and Santa Metric help. And even with the weather, we still serve 40 plates.
Wow. That's amazing.
That's a lot better than usual. You know, they needed it.
That's right, exactly. Well, I'm glad you can be there and do that, and glad Jake, Michelle, and Sam. Keith.
Yeah, we've got our annual meeting coming up on January 30th at Colonial Country Club. Love to see you guys there if you get a chance. We're also going to give out different things from different businesses in our city to just recognize you guys free. Hopefully we'll have a good time. If you were there last year, I think we had a good time with it. And so we're going to do the same thing again, but invite you guys. And also Coffee Connections will be here on the 25th this month at 8:30. So invite you guys out for that as well. And I hope we told them, Steve, I looked at you sweet. I hope you don't have anything on the calendar.
A ring was found in one of the cart buckets last week.
No, it was found earlier in December. It's actually a gold ring. It looks to be a men's ring. It looks to have 3 rubies in it.
That's mine.
It will fit on my thumb, which is what makes me think it's a men's ring. So we were out in December, so we didn't get a chance to mention it. So anybody who's lost a ring, or if you intentionally put it in there, please see me after the meeting.
That might be what we're one of these giveaways.
That's right.
Okay. We received a Christmas card from Fairgrove Family Resource Center, and they had a note inside. The Fairgrove Family Resource Center family cannot thank you enough for your financial support in 2023. Your contribution to our center has allowed us to serve many families throughout our community that are less fortunate. We are truly blessed to have such faithful donors. Have a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And it's signed by Kim does an amazing job keeping our programs going every week. And at the beginning of the year, every year, we all receive a yearbook. And in that yearbook, it tells you that you are responsible for the program. As grown-ups, we can all look and see that our time is coming up. But also, you will notice that Kim gives us a leading indicator. So if you are coming up as a program and have not yet heard your program topic, she will assign one to you, and you will not know what it is until the day you show up. So please, get Kim your program.
Don't do that.
She kicks me when I'm mad.
Don't do that.
Thank you very much. And if you can't do a program, don't tell me the week was the day before.
If you do not have an idea, if you're clueless and do not have an idea for a program, please get with Kim or me, because there's a couple of things we always try to have like in our back pocket for programs, so don't blow it off until the week before and then say you don't have anything. Beth.
Home Solutions in Davidson County, they're full of court for a cause. Fundraiser is January 26th. Tickets are $40 and it includes a prime rib dinner. They'll have a voting station, a cash bar, a great silent auction. If somebody's looking for a puppy or two, they're going to have a couple of little puppies that are going to have a nice silent auction. There's some really other great things. Anybody's a garden hopper, there's several garden vacation trips. But if you can't make it to the dinner, they also do a thing where you can just register for $10 to participate in the silent auction. And that's the same software that we use for the Rotary silent auction back at the Derby. So, it notifies you if somebody outbids you so you can stay on top of it. But anyway, if anybody's interested, let me know and I can get tickets.
And Toby always gives amazing silent auction items, including lots of tools and that kind of thing. So take a look at those. I think you can look at them first and then decide if there's anything you want to bid on, then do the $10.
Yeah, I think,
So on,
if not, you can add it to your list.
okay, on the Giddy app on your phone, it's Home Solutions Pull Board. Pull that up and you can see what their silent auction items are.
Mary Jane, I know Kim put this in the bulletin, but I know we have a short time frame for registration for leadership Davidson County. I just want to mention it because Rotary will do scholarships for members who are interested in doing this program. That's a $650 scholarship. It is a tremendous program, especially if you want to get to know a little bit more about what goes on in Davidson County, especially if you are an up-and-coming leader. So please, if you are interested, look at the dates that you are required to be there. If you, as a Rotarian, feel like you can attend and would like a scholarship, please let me know, or Kim know, or Mary Jane.
The first session will be our orientation seat, February 8th and 9th. And it'll either be at Sapona or Bologna. I'm working hard to get to Thomasville this year, but I'll
And those are required. The first 2 days or days and a half are required attendance for that. So, and you probably got an email from the chamber already about the dates.
The applications have to be in by January the 26th.
There is another announcement that I want to point out. Kim is pointing to, our two of them. And one of them is next Thursday, we're doing a new member orientation. And so if you have not attended a new member orientation, please come to that from 5:30 to 6:30. And then after that, we're doing a Rotary Social, Discover Rotary. It's a great time to invite people who might be interested in Rotary. Cross ties, 5:30 to 6:30 is the orientation. 6:30 to 7:30 is Rotary happy hour. We've got some hors d'oeuvres that we've ordered, so just on your own, whatever you want to drink. And then the other one that I want to point out is that there is a Rotary Grants Management Seminar. We are required to have someone go if we're going to get a district grant, which we always, every year, get our district grants. Christian does a great job writing our grants. He knows all about that. But if you're interested in what we do with those district grants, how those grants work, this is a great opportunity for you to get involved if you haven't been and you have some interest in that. So please see me or Kim if that's something you might be interested in. So we'd love to have more people involved in that aspect of Rotary. Last thing, I think, let's see if anybody else has something, is we're doing a membership survey. It takes 2 minutes or less to complete. An email went out, but if you want to pull out your phone, if you haven't done it, pull out your phone right now and do the little QR code and hold it up for you to complete the survey before we have split the pot. How about that? So that, yeah, ready to pull out your phone and do that. And we'll see how many we can get completed. We'd love to have better than 50% participation in that. Any other announcements? But I will leave that out there, but I would say let's do split the pot.
I'm gonna bring that cake for today.
Oh, I hear you.
Okay, so today I collected $190. So that made the grand total in the jackpot $3,129. And there are 17 cards left. So who didn't play? They didn't play.
Oh, yes, I don't ever know I want.
Do that.
There we are. 369236.
Okay, this is a program that I'm looking forward to. So Jason, I'll invite you to make your way up, and we're going to learn all about the use of drones. I thought they were going to fly the drones in here around the chandeliers, but they
Mary Jane, do you mind while you're setting that up that I can say something?
Yes, I would like to, no, at all.
For those that don't know me, I'm Michael Brandt, I'm the city manager. We activated our Emergency Operations Center yesterday, and the two gentlemen in front of you are the ones that lead that effort. And we activated it because of the flooding and the rain that we had, and the possibility of downed trees and such. And I just want to tell you that we have a very quick response to operate to emergency response when we have events in Thomasville and in Davidson County. And it's a combined arms effort. We have, of course, the fire department responding, we have police department responding, we have police departments responding, our sanitation crews will respond if necessary, administration responds, trying to flow information out to the community and trying to address all of the events, activities in a formulated method so that we can get the responses that people need. We responded to, I believe, 40 calls specifically storm-related in a very short period of time. And at one point, the rain was coming down at over an inch every 15 minutes. So we had a lot of stuff going on. But I just want to give it a hand to them and for the work that they do every day to make sure that this community is protected. So thank you very much.
Okay, so on that, the city manager trying to embarrass us when we get up here and nervous city was I'm one of the ones that wasn't acting like a grown adult.
Hold that mic in your hand if you will. But people can't hear you.
I think that's the first time I've been asked to speak in the mic. How's that? All right, so I was one of the ones that was not considered a grown adult. I haven't been here in the last couple of weeks and did not realize that I had a program today. Ms. Kim emailed me yesterday while we were at the Emergency Operations Center, said, what's your topic today? So we always keep one in our back pocket, as you said, for situations like this. But this is something we are very proud of. It's our drone program. There's a lot of departments that have not implemented this yet, and we continue to see more and more uses for drones in the fire service. The very first, this actually is a slideshow that just shows a little bit about the services we offer within the Thomasville Fire and Rescue Department, and then we'll actually get into the drones. We're actually going to, Sam will actually deploy the drone outside, and we'll be broadcasting back into the TV, and then you'll see what we're looking at when we're on incident scenes. So this is just a quick picture of our very first fire truck. It's the 1922 American France. I hate Peter York's not here because these antique trucks are his pride and joy. He really enjoys that. But that was the very first apparatus that we own. This year it's 102 years old. It still runs and operates. It doesn't pump. The pump's bad, but we still use it in parades. So that says a lot. And if you ever get a chance to look at it, the fan belt is made out of pieces of leather that's riveted together. It's chain driven. Both of the rear wheels are chain driven, and it's unbelievable when you think about it. There's not a single person that would have ridden that truck while they're on duty that's still alive today. That truck has carried on that legacy. This is our newest truck at the moment. That's a 2020 Speedle. It's a 105-foot aerial, and it's actually, that one
The last ladders we bought in '96, we bought them as twin apparatus. They were $375,000 a piece. This one came in at tune of $1.1 million. This is showing just some of the traditional firefighting. If you, with the aerial in the air, making a headway down the hallway, that just gives you an idea of some of the conditions that we would be facing. This is our Heavy Rescue 21. This came, and all these next few slides you're going to see is about our rescue equipment, rescue teams, and this truck was purchased used out of Pennsylvania as part of that endeavor. Former Fire Chief Eddie Bowman, now our Assistant City Manager, he actually was able to secure a Red Lake grant, a Rural Economic Development grant, and we was able to purchase this truck, a lot of the equipment, and especially for the other teams. There's a couple more slides of just this truck's equipment. This is our high-angle rescue team training. You can see on the left, we were going off the top of the showroom and going out over Main Street. And that is simulating getting a rescuer all the way across until we're bringing them off of the cell tower. The other one's in Central Rotary Jan, doing some training from the inside. It was either snowing or raining that day. This picture here, I believe, is myself coming off the side of the showroom with the mannequin. We always would do the rescues of mannequins off that. And this is the team that takes in place up top to make that lower. You don't realize that when you just see them come over the edge, but it takes a full team to do that. This is some of our confined space training. We have confined space rescue training. That's for backing up our teams that enter daily in streets, and they may go into these confined spaces, vaults into the ground, manhole covers, and we hope they never have to call us for action. But we are prepared. We have all the tubes. We have all this very small packs. Now we have some members that don't like that because you're going into tubes, and in order to get in there, you actually have to rotate your shoulders like so to narrow your profile in order to even get into that confined space. So it's very restrictive, and you don't usually only have one way out of it. This is our Swiftwater team boat and team. They were training on the Danville River in this picture here. We actually have 12 members. Now this is one team that we can't just let every member be a part of because of the special gear they have to wear. That is a Zodiac boat with a jet drive motor on it. That is one that we got from, it originally came from Special Forces out of Virginia, that we wound up being able to purchase that. We also have added an additional boat to it. It's in a bag, and it stays uninflated until we get on the scene. We take an air pack bottle, we can fill it off with one cylinder, and have a 20 horsepower motor that drops on the back of it, and it's deployable in 3 minutes upon our arrival on the scene. Here's some more pictures of them approaching the victims. This is a trench rescue trailer. This is an additional service we offer in specialty. Those are trench rescue panels, and you'll see them deployed here in the next slide. And we do have people working in trenches all the time. And this is if one caves in, they can put those trench panels in place and enter to get that victim out of that trench. All right, so this is a picture of a drone. We'll get a little bit more in depth with it in a moment. We currently operate 2 drones. One is with thermal capability and one is not. We originally started with a DJI drone, and it was roughly $1,200 to purchase it. This drone here is at the tune of $9,000 to $10,000, but it does have the thermal capabilities. You'll see in the slides coming up how much more that gives us the opportunity to rescue someone because of the thermal capabilities. We all have long carry thermal imagers on the trucks. Every one of our trucks has a thermal imager, handheld thermal imager. Now we're adding individual thermal imagers. So they actually keep them on their coat raise it up and look at it instead of having their hand tied up. But this is a picture from from a drone using the thermal FLIR, and you can see, one thing that's shown in this is, you can see the level of water in the water tank. Where this comes into play with us is if we are on a tank farm or train derailment, we can tell the level of the product in the tanks with the thermal because of the difference in the temperature of the vapor space, or the vapors in the vapor space. The next picture is that is the exact same picture, and with the naked eye, you cannot tell someone's in that doorway. But when you utilize the drone and it picks up their body temperature, you can definitely see the outline of them there. So that shows if we enter a smoke-filled room and you cannot see across the room and there's a victim laying there, that's where the thermal will show us. And it makes it much quicker for a rescue and helps us determine. Other uses that we use our handheld thermometer for are traffic accidents. If we are looking for someone that's been ejected, if we have if there's no one conscious on the scene that can tell us I was the only one in that vehicle, or there were two of us in the vehicle, it gives us a chance to scan the area to make sure there's not additional victims from the traffic accident. If we get there quick enough, you can actually check the seats, because where someone was sitting leaves a heat signature in the seat for quite some time. So those thermals are very sensitive. If we had one of our handhelds, we could actually hold our hand on the wall and remove it, and you still see the impression of our hand just from the heat that remained on that. One of the uses, this is, I believe, the Kern Street School fire, when we had that. Now, this was one of the very first times that we were able to talk to the North Carolina League of Municipalities about a grant. They have always funded some kind of a safety grant. They do a 50-50 match up to $5,000. So Eddie and Sam reached out to TJ Bluefield with North Carolina League of Municipalities. They said, we don't do a grant for drones. Well, they took these pictures, we actually had some videos, and showed them how we used a thermal drone. Our current one, the previous one, does not have the thermal as I spoke of, but the Davidson County Fire Marshal's Office had brought theirs out, and we were able to video with it, and we was able to share with them. As you can see, we can tell, we would put the drone in the air, and we would be able to tell exactly where the hottest parts of the fire was. Here is pretty much throughout, but we were able to check the hand lines and the hose lines and the master strings that was on the aerial devices by looking at the signatures on the drone. So one of the things that our newest ladder that I showed you earlier, the 1.1 million, it has a remote nozzle on it, remote control nozzle. So if there's times that we can't have a firefighter at the tip, if it's really toxic smoke, or if it's lightning, and we bring those firefighters down, we can operate it with the remote nozzle. So we have full control of the direction of that 1,000 gallon per minute nozzle. And so we'll bring that operator down, holding the remote, and he'll stand beside the drone operator, and he can look at the heat signatures on the TV or the iPad, and he can direct the nozzle 105 foot up based off of the drone footage that we're using. So we really came a long ways in what we can do with the firefighting aspects of the drone. There's another picture looking down into the Kern Street School fire, and you can see, of course, the white hot is the most. The one thing to point out here as well is if you can see the water runoff, you can see where that water is heated, and it's showing almost white. It would be black if that was cool water. And we have, and Sam will show you when he goes outside, you can change the different perspectives of what you're seeing with that thermal drone. So you can either have it cold show up the most, or you can do white hot, white cold. You can have it crosshair onto that. So there's many uses for this, and we'll discuss those a little bit. So that's just a quick thank you. This is something that had been added into this slide program. This is Everbridge Nixle. We use that for a lot of public notifications. So if you would be interested in receiving severe weather alerts or any kind of road closure by texting 27360-2888777. And we utilize that a lot for notifications of street closures or other areas of the city that may be closed for some reason. I think one of the last ones we sent out as a major text alert was when the high pressure zone went down on the water system. So that was something that affected several people. So one thing as far as the drone goes, I would like to say a quick thank you to our city administration, our city council, the mayor, for supporting us with this. These are not cheap, but they see the uses of them. We have been able, in fact, our city manager and mayor have showed up to several of our fire scenes and actually witnessed the drones in operation. So that has been a blessing for us. Also, I'd like to thank Dr. Brown and DDCC because they offer classes when we were having several of our firefighters going through the pilot license program for the drone, they sponsor that as well. So some of the other uses that I wanted to mention is we can take this drone and do predetermined flight patterns. So I think we assisted the recreation department when the aquatic center was being built. The manager had wanted to put the progression on the website where people could see it. Residents could see it and others that would be interested in that. So we were able to say we go out once every Friday and actually launch the drone. And by doing the predetermined flight path, it would do the exact same flight path each time. And that way you were seeing the progression from one week to the other. This is also, we used it on the Kern Street project, that's the latest one. The demolishment of the Kern Street project has been listed on our website as well. Other uses that we have, we continue to find more and more uses of it. We have been going for corridor lighting, such as the manager has requested that we fly the different streets in town to see if there's a lighting issue, see if there's really dark spots that could affect the motorists in town. So we've taken care of that. One of the latest things we did for the city flew over the city buildings looking for hail damage on the roofs after the hailstorm to see for liability purposes. We have flown some of the streets as well for water leaks because of the cool water making its way up to the top of the street. You can see the difference in that. So we can identify water leaks. There's also a characteristic or a function of this drone that will do a smart orbit. A smart orbit is you launch it in the air and you can take it and pick your point of interest. If I was going to say in this room and I picked the center table as my point of interest, then I would pull the drone up away from it and back and adjust the camera where it stayed on that table. And as it orbited around, it would adjust itself to where that camera always stayed on that table. And so where we use that is a battalion chief needs a 360 of that structure fire while it's going on. So we will launch the drone, set the structure that's on fire as the point of interest, and then he will be having this drone continue to circle the entire time in order to give him a visual on all sides of the building at all times, which improves our firefighter safety. So even if he just needs a safety officer on the backside, say he can see three sides of the building but he can't see on the backside, we'll launch the drone and actually have it just on the backside with eyes on that side. And that acts as a safety officer. And all this broadcast, just like Sam has it now broadcasting here, this broadcasts back to the battalion chief's vehicle. So he's sitting there looking at his iPad. We just, in the back of their new Silverado truck that they have as a battalion chief vehicle, we just installed a 32-inch TV that swings out to where they can actually view it if they're running the scene from outside of the vehicle. Sam, you got anything you want to add?
You have talking points. Definitely, as far as like compliance, things like that, you do have to have a pilot's license to fly a drone, other than one like you buy at Walmart. You can buy the little small drones or less than a pound, half a pound, 55, and be fine with that. They don't have to be registered. Other ones do have to be registered, so it hasn't had the same, FAA number just like the back of an airplane does. So I have a FAA pilot's license to fly a drone. For emergencies, we fly under what's called a certificate of authorization or a waiver for emergencies, because we don't have time to call the FAA and say, hey, I need to fly. You know, that's life and death, potentially, so a lot of times that's what we're gonna do. I'm not, you know, available 24/7 to come fly, but for things like everybody's night, everybody's day, for situational awareness, just getting pictures, that's times that I'll come in and fly, just because you're supposed to have a certified pilot or things like that. Talk about some of the battalion chief. What other bullet points you
We have some of the other things that we can use it for too is in the safety of the firefighters and the community as well, is if we were to have a train derailment in town, the last thing we want to do is send our firefighters right to a chemical leak, because depending on what that is, so we could launch the drone and fly the length of the train and look for a vapor release or something like that. We send the drone downrange instead of firefighters to start with on something of that nature. That or some of our hazardous materials facilities in Thomasville. One of them was Harcross when they had their chlorine. That was always a concern of ours, and we could stop out at Denny's or 66 and fly in with a drone before we actually put people downrange. Some of the other ones would be hazardous materials facilities that I just mentioned, but also where it really comes into play with the community is I'm sure several of us have people that we know that have some kind of cognitive impairment, and they may walk away from a nursing facility or walk away from home. And a lot of them, I know we take up funds for Alzheimer's. My mother, I'm dealing with her late-stage dementia, but it gives me a little bit of a sense of peace because I know that we could deploy a drone in the situations such as that, because a lot of times they will find water. And they will wander for water. So we have a limited time frame or the weather's bad. We'll launch the drones and look, assist the PD in looking for missing persons. So that's one time. So far, by the time we get the drone in there, they located him somewhere else. The very last one was an autistic person that had disappeared from home, and they were located at Walmart with someone else. So that had a good turnout. Pre-planned SWAT deployments. Speaking of the SWAT deployment, Thomasville Police lost one of their drones where they were involved in a lower part of Davidson County where the gentleman was hostage. They sent several SWAT teams in. They were taking fire. They tried to, Davidson County Emergency Services launched one of their drones. He took 3 shots at it, shot it out of the air. And then Thomasville Police launched their drone, and when they did, they said, okay, we're going to keep it moving, where at least it would be a moving target. It didn't stop him. 1 shot, he had it on the ground. So they can utilize this in SWAT situations where they have eyes in the sky while they're doing the SWAT. Some of the new future uses of the drone, one of them is inside drones. If you ever saw anybody on TV doing the racing drones, it's very similar. They have the VR goggles, the virtual reality goggles, and they're flying these racing drones. So I know Davidson Day Community College just put out that they will be hosting, I think it was the last seminar, they were hosting indoor flying of the drones. That would come in more for the police department for sure. If they had a hostage situation in the school or a hostage situation at the hospital, they could fly this drone in instead of putting the officers right in the front of it. Where we could do it is something like Mohawk, as large as that building is. We could launch an internal drone and be able to see where the fire was before we could start pulling hose lines, because it's such a long way to the fire in something the size of Mohawk. One thing that we have started utilizing the drone for, and it's just one of those things we came to the realization, is a lot of our younger high schoolers, younger people coming into the fire service, they are all into technology. They're all into gaming. And the controllers for this is a lot like a gaming controller. So we have started using it as recruitment. And if we go set up a career day at Thomasville High School, we actually took the drone and set it up here on the table like this and had video playing of drone footage, because it's something that would attract them, the younger generation that really likes that. A funny story, we had a captain walk in. He's an older captain, old school, salty, and his newest firefighter was sitting in there after hours with these VR goggles on. And he was usually playing the game on his VR Captain's like, what in the heck are you doing? I had no idea about the VR gaming, so it is definitely a learning curve for the other ones. One thing too, this, in the window over here, he has a live deck. It's got the antennas on it, and you'll see the use of it in a minute. But we can also, as we're broadcasting the drone footage, we can broadcast that up to 2 miles away. So the police department and fire department in the ARPA funding was able to get the large command vehicle. And it has a total of 4 TVs on it. We did a training at Hartcross, and with that training, we were able to use the slide deck and actually broadcast downrange of what the hazmat team was doing with some of the leaking barrels back to the command post. So all the command staff had a view of exactly what was going on at the scene when it was completely out of sight of us because of this live deck. So we can also utilize the live deck for broadcasting live to Zoom. If the managers was not able to get into the vehicle when we had a major incident, we could set up a Zoom link and broadcast to the managers and to city council about what was going on. We do it with Zoom, Teams, Facebook Live, so it's got a lot of opportunities there. So you'll see here, we'll sort of work together with this on as he gets ready to launch it. And this drone, all the drones are limited, unless it's government use, to 400-foot ceiling. So we cannot go any higher than 400 foot, and you're supposed to stay within range of sight. So,
Jason, I noticed the lights on the drone. Can you speak to what the different color and blinking versus solid lights mean?
those lights are mainly orient you to where the drone's at in the air. So once you learn those, you'll know if it's headed back towards you or leaving you. And that helps with that orientation, especially after hours. So you can see how quickly it launched in the air. There he is, just to zoom the camera down, he's hovering, just hovering at the moment. Okay, here is some of the thermal. You can see Sam here in the picture moving around outside the porch there. And you can see where the heat is up around the dormers of the roof. So it's picking up those heat signatures there. Wow. There he's showing the white hot. You can see where that same area that was colored a minute ago were highlighted, and now it's in white. So that's when he's chosen that section of white hot. He's going through the different formats there that shows. So it's a very clear picture, and we can fly to different areas in the city. Just messing with it on July 4th night, we launched it and just took videos of the different fireworks coming up toward it. Actually, I had somebody aiming at it at one time. We had to take it up to the fire. It all depends on the wind speed and how much you're moving. But typically, we can get 20 to 25 minutes out of a battery, and we carry 8 of them. So, and we also have ways of charging them on scene. So we just continually rotate them out onto the chargers. So that was a good question, because Davis County Fire Marshal's office actually had to crash land one of theirs into a tree because they was looking for a fugitive. And they got beyond, right at the halfway point of the battery life, and it gives you a warning of that. However, they didn't think about the tailwind they had on the way out. They didn't have enough battery to get against the headwind back to the landing site. So they actually had to pick a spot and crash land it, which is able to salvage it. It didn't damage it too much, but that is a good point. We have to take that into consideration when we launch these. But you can see how clear the picture is. And He's not showing the smart orbit at the moment, but if he was to pick that building as that orbit and get closer to it, then it would just continually fly around in a circle until it alerted you that the battery was about dead. And if, for some reason, you have lost sight of it, you can just swipe on the screen on the home, and it will return itself to its takeoff point and land itself. So a lot of times we don't even touch the controller, we just set it down, hit home, and it'll come and land itself, and swap the battery and launch it again. So, any other questions on the drone? Yes, sir.
Did you zoom that camera in the air?
Yes. Let me have him do that.
Zoom in a little bit on that camera.
I do know it will not zoom in clear mode or thermal mode, but in just there you go. So he was able to zoom well in with that drone. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
It's kind of a combination drone and fire department, I guess. But the new business out on 64, Newport, what fire department is responsible, or which fire departments will be on call?
Okay, it falls within Holly Grove's fire district, I do believe. And anytime we have a structure fire within the city, we automatically have 3 of our 4 departments respond. In the county, if Holly Grove's responding on a structure fire, they automatically have 2 more departments respond. So it would probably Silver Valley and Fairgrove come to assist at that facility. But then there's mutual aid and automatic aid contracts in place across the entire county. Something of that size and that nature would probably have, upwards of 20-something departments there if it was to be of any magnitude. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Have you ever used it to try to find heat losses in city buildings that need more insulation or anything?
No, but with the thermal capabilities, it could possibly show heat releasing from a roof in cold weather because of the difference in the temperature variations. So
It might save the city some money.
I have an idea what we'll be doing next week. Good point. Any other questions, comments? So we're continuing to see more and more adaptation of drones in the fire service and other services as well. Overseas, they actually have drones that's large enough to deploy with a hose line attached to them. And they are actually firefighting high-rise fires with the drones. So if there's a window that's already busted out and it's vented, the fire's vented, 90 stories up, they'll actually deploy this drone and actually introduce fire stream into that to start diminishing the fire from the outside until the other teams can get up to it by using the traditional methods. There's jobs that you see now advertised, people on natural gas, I believe, uses drones to fly their pipelines. So there's many job opportunities that's come with drones. Amazon and Walmart have looked at using drones for delivery of your packages. I think Domino's has looked at the possibility of using drones for delivery. So it's an exciting new world if you're into that kind of stuff. Some people could say it's a little scary. So.
Can they calculate speed of an object? Like, can they give you back data on something like that? Like, we're looking at, I don't know, the speed of a car or the speed of something in the air?
That's a real good question that I don't have the answer to. I don't know if they could have a radar device on that or not. There are several attachments that can be added to a drone. One of the attachments that I know of, like Oak Island Beach, the town of Oak Island, on their drone, they actually have a loudspeaker. So on red flag warning days, they can fly down the beach with the drone and be broadcasting to tanks in the water. And so they can see if there's people in the water and then speak to them on that. One thing we're looking to do, and we're talking $9,000 to $10,000 drone here. The new Matrice is out. It's a larger drone and capable of carrying a payload. They're around $50,000. So they are very, very expensive. However, there's for if we were able to secure one. And just like last night, we had a big one with flow cars. Thankfully, the gentleman had already got out, but had there been somebody out on top of that car, by the time our team got out to them, we could already had a drone launched, and it's got a tether device, a carrying device that can release. So we could actually carry a paracord out to that vehicle and drop the paracord to the victim, and then have them pull across a life jacket to get a life jacket on them before our teams could even get there. So we actually have a spotlight on one of ours as far as lighting. Some of the hazmat teams carry a gas monitor on the drones that when they fly in, they can check the environment before anybody ever goes in. It tells them the gas readings on those drones. So there's many, so I'm sure the PD might not tell you, but they very well might have that capability of clocking you on the vehicle. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Maximum temperature that it can fly, like in Phoenix, for 125 degrees, or Arctic Circle, like that kind of thing. Well, not that much, but
right.
when it gets really cold and then snow, sleet, hail.
I don't know the extremes. I just know that we can fly in any type of weather that occurs here, except for heavy rain or ice or heavy wind. The heavy wind would take it out. Yes, it would be all over the place. So that was.
It's really based on your battery too, because these lithium batteries, they do terrible in hot, and they do terrible in cold. Normal temperatures, your 70 degree ambient day, it's great. You'll get the 20 to 30 minute time frame. We carry a cooler, so for our hot days, we'll put them in a cooler as we charge them, or for our cold days, we'll put ice packs in there to warm them back up. So that's definitely your limiting factor.
Something the manager spoke of this morning when we sat down, and we have saw those as well. They're just very expensive. They have them tethered to the vehicle, so it rides around on a battalion chief's vehicle, and it looks like a luggage carrier. But if the battalion chief wants to launch it, he'll just hit the button in the cab, and the doors open on top of the luggage carrier, and the drone will launch and get up to the length of the tether, and then it has power at all times. It's like an umbilicus that keeps power to it, so you don't have to worry about changing out the batteries. So there's many options with this, and it's continuing to evolve daily, I would say. Any other questions? Right, so I want to just take a moment, because that's one thing a lot of people don't know we even carry. We actually have two. I think the police department was up to 5. I don't know if that was including the one that got shot down, but we are constant, and with technology, as each of you know, it gets outdated very quickly. But one thing that was helpful, I didn't ever finish the story about the North Carolina League Municipalities grant, matching grant. But once we showed them, Assistant City Manager Eddie Bolden and Sam showed them the videos from Kern Street School of how it could be used for firefighter safety, they said, absolutely, we will provide the grant, and now we'll start sponsoring that for other municipalities. So it has turned into a grant opportunity for us. That's all we got. Thank you.
I would like to challenge anyone that doesn't have a program until the day before to do that well. Thank you.
That was good.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, thank you so much. That was so interesting. And I mean, Thomasville impresses me in so many ways, just the way people work together. I just think it's an amazing community. But I think for a community this size, I'm so impressed with things like this, that our fire department has this kind of technology. So, city manager, fire chief, emergency director, thank you all so much for helping us be state of the art and take care of our citizens.
Hey, I'll quickly say, I love that our fire department and all types of departments in our city set the precedent for things that are happening all over the state, like offering a grant for drones for firefighter safety. Like being the first to do that is really cool. Thanks for having me.
Very cool. Thank you all so much. Is there anything